It's safe to say the transfer window is in full flow, with huge developments happening this past week. We have a lot to talk about during this episode, from coverage of Copa America to transfer news, footballer impressions, along with, of course, much more football chat. As always, if you enjoy this podcast, support us with a subscription and don't forget to check out our other platforms. Any support is greatly appreciated. But without further ado, let's talk ball.
There we go.
Intro.
Decent, yeah.
Welcome back to Season 2, Episode 3 of the Let's Talk Ball podcast. I'm Samuel Slaney and I'm joined with Connor Ward, John Lomas, and our guest for today, Jordan Mountford.
Welcome all. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. We just met like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, fourth member in the group.
It's quite interesting, really, isn't it?
It's going to be a bit of a free-flow episode, this one.
Oh, how so?
I mean, we were doing it a couple of days before. And it's just
Well, come on.
So?
Well, what do you want me to say? I'm trying to make conversation.
Well,
go on, you say
No,
that.
see-
Go on, John.
Seeing as we're mixing up a bit, let's get just straight into the transfer talk. So the Pogba Saga.
Yeah, he
What
wants
we
to
know
leave.
so far then. So, Real Madrid, Juventus and Barcelona are after him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's 150 million, approximately, in today's market. That's mad, isn't it, to be fair?
that's crazy.
What did he
But
do
no,
tomorrow?
considering though Maguire's like 90 million.
He was in
Yeah,
soccer.
that's
He
a
was
joke.
man.
Harry Maguire was in
How was
soccer
he
as
at
well.
9?
Did you see
Yeah, he
that?
was, yeah. His hamstrings are massive.
Yeah,
Even
big guy. isn't he, to be fair?
He's got no quads, but like his hamstrings are
Looks like a
massive.
goat, I think.
Is he the GOAT?
Just got
No.
a
Is he going to go
massive
to
head.
United
Nah.
and be the GOAT?
It's like a
He'll
proper
flop.
brickhead, auntie, like a proper massive.
Slab.
I
Well,
would
head.
fear
Yeah,
if he went to
that's
Man
the
United, he'd be a new Phil Jones.
Oh, really?
I think he will.
I don't. Probably. I think he's probably better than Phil Jones. Was quite highly rated though when he was at
My
Blackburn.
nan's better than Phil Jones.
True. Yeah.
I don't know how he's still at Man United.
Well,
a
And
joke.
and
do
Chris
you know what?
Smalling.
Club.
It's the same with Chris Smalling as well. He's slightly better sometimes, but
Do you remember when Fergie said about Phil Jones? He could be the United's greatest ever player.
did he say
remember
that,
that?
or was that just...
Yeah,
no, he
that
said
was-
that.
that was
Yeah, he did. He
legitimate.
did say
I
that.
think personally that Phil Jones and Chris Smalling are being kept around for financial fair play.
For shits
Because
and
you
giggles.
have to have like English players in your team, don't you?
Yeah, that does make sense.
I think it's
Yeah.
just a cheap option. Well, he's not cheap, is he? His wage is quite bad.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
But anyway, let's get back to Pogba then.
Yeah.
Real Madrid, Juventus and Barcelona are interested in him. £150 million in today's market. Bit of a divider within the fan base because like half of the United fans like him, half hate him. 2 years on his contract remaining. And he's come out and said, after this season and everything that happened this season, with my season being my best season as well, I think for me it could be a good time to have a new challenge. How many times did he say season in that?
Yeah.
I think he's right though.
What
I
do you-
mean,
No,
the
I
stats,
agree.
The stats prove I've got my stats
Oh,
list right
yes,
here.
mate.
So this season was United's top goal scorer with 13 goals. Lukaku got 12 goals. He had the most assists.
Why'd you laugh there?
Out
It's
of
just-
he had the
Yeah,
most
12
assists from Man
goals,
United
yeah.
players with 9 goals, the most passes, the most shots. So he's directly been involved with 22 goals out of United's 65 goals. So without his involvement, they would have been on minus goal difference if it
Yeah,
wasn't
you've got
for
a
him.
point there.
He's-
That is so
You can't argue, statistically, he has been United's best player.
He scores a lot of penalties, didn't he? I think. How many penalties did he score?
Oh, I don't know that one.
Well, it's probably
he scored
at
quite
least
a lot.
5, weren't it?
But yeah, like the fact that Lukaku, who was their £90 million signing, is scoring as many goals as Ashley Barnes in the season is pretty poor.
Have you seen the gif with Lukaku where he falls over the ball?
Yeah,
Where
he
like,
almost
puts his
injured
foot-
himself,
He
didn't
puts
he?
his foot on the ball and slips over.
It's a weird one though, because
his ball
you know
control is
you
so
see
bad.
Lukaku for Belgium. He's not bad at all.
He
If
just
he's
scores
surrounded with
tap-ins,
talent,
though. That's the
yeah,
thing.
but
He's there in
he
the
is
right
one. He
place.
doesn't score like nice goals at all.
Yeah.
They are always tap-ins, but his positioning in the
Yeah.
box is very.
No,
good.
I do agree with that, and I think his problem is that he's put on. I think he's put on a
Too
lot.
big into.
We've said this before
Yeah,
on the
he-
podcast that I think he's just got too much weight on him.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily bad weight either. It's muscle.
It's muscle, but
Yeah.
it slows him
It
down.
just
doesn't
slows
it?
him down.
Yeah.
Well, like you saw him at Everton, he was a lot slimmer, wasn't he? But he still had a decent. He was still a big guy, but like now it's just too much.
Yeah,
Do you think he'll suit
Joshua.
Italy?
Yeah.
Anthony Joshua of football, Lukaku is.
Mark
Comes
Henry.
to the big stage.
Mark and Mark.
But
Now,
yeah,
how do you think he'll go on into Milan?
Slower league, so he could do better.
I think he'll
That-
thrive in it.
He's definitely not been used like in the way that we saw at Everton.
Yeah,
Has
I
he?
agree. Yeah. Well,
you know, like
Everton
planned the team around him
Yeah,
a bit.
the whole team's around him. They put crosses into the box. They'll do that more at Inter Milan, especially with people like Perisic out on the wings. As well. It's like I said earlier, it's a slower league, so that'll mean that when he slows the ball down, it won't affect them as much, and defenders won't be on his heels as much as they are in England. So I think that would be a good move for him. But with Pogba, Juventus, haven't they? Hasn't the sporting director gone to London to talk to Man United sporting director about that?
Hey, I've heard that, yeah. Now, this is the thing, because if he was to go back to Juventus, then I think we'd be having a swap deal.
With Dybala.
Well, no, I don't even think Dybala. I think João Cancelo, because we're after him with Man City as well. And Douglas Costa.
Is he more a wing-back, though, João Cancelo?
He's been played at right mid and mostly at right back this season, yeah.
Yeah. So would he fit in a Man United flat four?
Personally, I think he would.
It's quite interesting with Juventus, though, because have you heard about... It's obviously a different play, but Salah has come out and said he'll assess his situation next year, and apparently Juventus are sniffing around.
Someone's put 150 million bid in,
well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
I doubt Juve can afford Salah, Ronaldo, and...
Well, no. It would be one or the other. They won't get Salah this year. Why would he leave
this
Liverpool?
is why...
No.
Well, he said not this season, but next season.
This is why I think
Still
it'll be a
doubt
swap deal for Pogba.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Juve can afford him.
Didn't they say
cash.
they didn't? I saw somewhere that they would have to sell 4 players to fund the Pogba move.
Yeah.
Or something like
And
that.
the thing is, we could do... I know Costa's more of a left winger.
I really rate Douglas Costa.
I think he's great, yeah. 28 years old, in the prime of his career.
Rapid, isn't he?
He's worth 35 million.
Got good ball control as well.
Which, that's quite cheap.
In this
He's got very
market,
quick feet, Douglas Costa, as I always
Yeah,
thought.
very skillful player.
Yeah, very skillful.
I'd take that, I would. João Cancelo, Douglas Costa, and then about 65 million on top of that. I'd be happy with that.
If Man United spent that properly, that would be a good deal.
I just can't see
Who'd you
him
get
going
for
back to Juve.
It's
Why?
the fact he said he
He's
wants
after
a new challenge.
Yeah, he wants a new challenge.
Yeah.
I just think that Real Madrid side...
The Real Madrid one seems like the most plausible, doesn't it?
Yeah, the new Galactico.
I think with him coming out
Yeah.
and saying that now, yeah. Else I think it was always looking like Juventus.
Yeah, I think Real Madrid makes sense, especially like Jordan said, they've kind of got the Galacticos in because they've got Hazard, Jovic, the Leon left back, what was his name?
Mendy.
Yeah, they got Mendy.
Ferdinand Mendy, is it?
Yeah.
Ferdinand
Mendy,
So they're
yeah.
spending quite a lot. He loves Zidane. Didn't he say mid-season that he'd love to work under Zidane?
Yeah.
I think that was what he was looking for at Man United.
Yeah, and I think that's where United went wrong. They rushed too quickly into Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, where they could have had a...
I agree with that.
Zidane, and then he would have inspired players like Pogba to stay. I mean, I can't see Pogba staying for long. I mean, even if he stays this season...
Well, he's only got 2 years left on his contract. Man United should just cash in because next year he'll be cheaper.
Exactly.
He will be cheaper, and then even if they keep him next year, he then could go on a free. And for a guy they've spent 90 million on, they could do without that. Plus, as well, he's usually a pretty bad influence apparently on the dressing room. Happy
locker room cancer.
Imagine if he's unhappy. That's not going to be good for the dressing room at all.
It's weird though because you look at that United dressing room. You've got Lingard, Rashford,
can't
and
stand
Pogba dancing,
Lingard.
dabbing all over the changing room. How is that a toxic changing room?
Imagine if
It's probably an unproductive changing room. Someone like
too playful. Yeah,
someone like Cantona would walk in, or Roy Keane maybe.
Yeah.
Well, smack the head against
I
the
don't
wall,
think
wouldn't
it's
he?
a serious enough changing room. Like, when the chips are down, you're not going to have a Roy Keane who's going, listen, like, pick it up. It's just heads down into the phones and all that.
Doing stupid dancing and
uploading things to Instagram.
Yeah.
Chanting about
That's
Tony
a
Marshall.
massive problem for
Did you
us.
see him? Have you seen that video of, is it Rashford, Lingard and Martial
dancing,
stupid singing about his song? That really irritates me. But yeah,
I think the worst is definitely Griezmann's celebration at the World Cup, the fortnight.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that made me want to punch the screen. You know what I mean?
maybe not that far, but
Well, yeah, that far.
fair enough.
It's
So we've
cringe,
spoke
innit?
about Real Madrid then. If Pogba's off to Real Madrid, I think that throws a spanner in the works for United.
Yeah,
Massively.
yeah.
Do you know why?
Yeah,
Because
it's about-
inevitably Bale's going to come over, isn't he? As
Oh
part
yeah,
of the deal.
that would be part of the
Because
deal,
Ed
yeah.
Woodward goes, oh, Bale, quality player.
Yeah.
Doesn't look at his age and he doesn't look at his injury history.
Didn't
Well,
they say
not
they're
just
not
that.
interested in him. I swear they said they're not interested in getting
No,
him.
apparently, we're quite close to him.
No, it's a bad idea. Sanchez has proved that.
But then,
Sanchez
this
2.0.
is, you know, Bayern,
Yeah.
apparently they could come to the rescue. They want him on a year loan.
Kind of like they did with James Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Is he alone?
I think he'd suit that.
I don't particularly.
You
get,
should get on your knees and kiss Bayern Munich's president's feet or
Oh,
something
100%, yeah.
if they do that.
I'll be happy with that.
but Bale wouldn't be bad on a loan, but on a permanent signing, that is not a good move.
Yeah,
at
definitely
all.
not.
Yeah, this is where I criticise myself, to be fair. I'd take him on a year loan if I knew that we didn't have an option to buy. I
Yeah.
don't want it. Else it's Alexis Sanchez 2.0.
Yeah, it is definitely.
It's a load of wages just sat there doing nothing.
Well, it's the attitude as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Madrid, especially not willing to break into the team, says he'd rather play golf. Fair play, but still.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Terrible.
Attitude. We covered that
Yeah.
last time, didn't we?
Still can't
Yeah,
speak Spanish.
Yeah.
Can't he?
No.
That's bad.
Imagine like
He's
not being
definitely on his way out.
Surely. But
I
Zidane
can speak more
hates him.
Spanish than Bale.
I bet you can, to be fair.
Yeah, hablo español un poco y soy aprendiendo español en este momento.
Bale's just going, what's that?
Yeah, well, yeah.
What
I
language
have
is that,
no
mate?
idea what you just said. That's what you
I
said.
got a clue. He just said.
The
Isn't that what he
fans
said
hate
to
him.
Marcelo?
He said, yeah, Marcelo probably rinsed him, didn't he, for that?
Here's a
So
question.
should.
Could you see Real Madrid doing a swap deal besides Bale? So could you see him letting go of any other player for the Pogba deal?
Modric.
I think they are going to try and get rid of him.
Maybe that's a shout.
He was supposed to be going
That's
into
not
one.
bad.
I'd love Varane. Imagine if they let go of Varane.
Oh, they wouldn't let go of
They
Varane, though.
wouldn't.
He's so good.
They obviously got Isco as well. That's potential. Whether he'd fit our style of play.
Good player.
Very
like
good player.
He's still quite young as well, only 26, 27.
Marco Asensio, Lucas Vasquez and Cruz. I think they try and offload Cruz to us.
Cruz is about 28, 29, though, isn't he?
He's 29 years old
So
now.
not a lot of... Could be a
Well,
Schweinsteiger 2.0.
I just feel like if he goes to Real Madrid, we're going to get ripped off in some way. Whether
Yeah.
it's Bale coming on an initial loan and then with an option to buy. Is, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're going to get
that-
ripped
I
off.
don't know
Well,
where
yeah.
Bale would play for Man United as well. Where does he fit in? It's another winger.
Someone else to drag back Martial.
He'd be right wing, I think.
Do you think he'd be right?
Yeah, but then where's Rashford? Is he starting or is
Well, yeah,
Martial
exactly.
starting?
Just
Something like
creates a big clusterfuck, doesn't it?
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's another problem we had as well, like too many wingers.
That is a
Well,
problem.
that's yeah, definitely, especially on the left hand side.
Yeah.
Because you've got Martial, Rashford plays there quite a lot. Sanchez is a left-sided winger, so that's that's like three left-sided.
It's not
wingers.
even worth mentioning Sanchez's name,
No.
is it?
No.
No, true.
Salim, get him gone.
See that? Yeah, exactly. Why haven't we sold him? Or
No,
if
no,
no one's
but-
in
no.
for him, then release him from contract. Because in the long run, you're going to be better off
Yeah.
in terms of financially.
I suppose you could
don't
just
get
wait for
why they
a
signed
Chinese
him.
offer, maybe.
He's linked with a move to Inter, I've heard. But,
Only if he takes a pay cut, though.
yeah,
Will he
and
take
that's
a
what
pay
annoys
cut?
me. I
Yeah.
think he'll take a pay cut for that. And
Probably,
Lukaku
yeah.
apparently is going to take a pay cut. Why couldn't you do that at United?
Because
the
Man
mon-
United offer
throw
you the
the
money.
money,
That's
yeah.
what
This
it
is what I'm
is.
saying. Like,
That's what Man
our
United
wage
do.
structure is obliterated.
Mess,
It's
isn't it?
done.
Well,
And it's to the point.
Liverpool's, for example.
Oh yeah, but it's to the point where if someone like Bale comes, he's just going to be earning at least 400k a week, or at least
It's
350.
ridiculous for not even getting
I know.
the team.
It's
But that's how it
Nah.
is.
Horrific.
Dreadful.
I don't know
What's
what I'll say.
embarrassing? We're run by bankers.
Yeah, you
You
are.
are.
You're run by a marketing team.
Yeah, not even like people who know much about football. It's more the
That's
financial side.
exactly what it is with Man
Yet
United.
we're awful.
Get
in the
Darren
financial side.
Fletcher and
Literally.
No, don't. We
Swat
covered that a
Super
couple of
Darren
Watch
podcasts
out
ago.
for Newcastle when they get their owner.
I know.
Man United
Yeah.
are the first one to get out the top six potentially. Them and Arsenal are the most vulnerable.
I think
And maybe
Arsenal are
even
more
Chelsea.
vulnerable than Man U.
Do you think they're more? Arsenal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they
Stan-
are because I was going to ask
Man
this in
United
the
are a
last
bigger
podcast.
club, I suppose. Yeah.
Where's Arsenal's money? How'd you
Mm.
finish in the top 6 yet you broke?
Yeah, because
I don't
Stan
get it.
Kroenke doesn't put any money in, does he?
Spending it on his ranch, isn't he?
Yeah, there's a
Then
ranch
he's-
that's bigger than
Yes,
Birmingham. Is it bigger than Birmingham, the ranch? God.
But yeah, so Pogba goes. It looks like we're going to bring
Apparently he's ready to go on
Tielemans.
strike, apparently.
Yeah, he's going to force through a move apparently. Because
Just
again, this is
sell
the
him.
mentality
May
of
as well.
United.
Sell
They
Such a
see him
bad attitude.
staying there next year.
Yeah, they do. They say I saw that on Sky this morning. It came up on my phone.
Imagine
Said
this:
he's gonna
you're with a
remain.
girl, yeah.
Yeah.
You've been with her for a few years.
Right.
Yes.
It's all looking good.
Yeah.
10 out of 10 girl.
And she goes and
She goes to you. I like this other guy. Don't want to be with you anymore. Are you going to get on your knees and beg her, or are you going to say, do you know what? Go away. Your
I
friend
wouldn't
is
say
decent.
go
If you're a
He's out
lo-
the
if you're
door.
if you're a loser,
Yeah,
you'll-
you
That's
you'll-
what I'm
you'll
saying,
beg for
and
it.
that is the mentality.
And that's the
that-
Man United mentality.
Yeah, because we're going to beg Pogba to stay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, here, I have 600k a week.
Man United
thing-
should be bigger than that.
The
We
thing
are
is,
bigger than that.
Man United could do what Liverpool did. Get a ton of cash off him and reinvest it.
That's what we need to do.
That's exactly.
But I'm just scared we're going to
Could be a-
reinvest it in Sean Longstaff.
a
And like,
Spurs 2.0 when they sold Bale. Do you remember that?
yeah,
And the
Oh,
yeah. They
but,
Messiah
Sissoko,
Chadley.
didn't
Soldado, Roberto Soldado.
Etienne
Oh, yeah.
Caputo.
Jake Livermore.
Shake
Big
Livermore.
names.
Didn't he do cocaine? Was that Jake Livermore?
Shake Livermore.
That'll do, Connor.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Yeah, sorry.
What do you think of Yuri Tielemans, sir?
Oh, he's a good player.
I think he's done really well at Leicester.
Do you think he'll just stay at Leicester though, or would he go Man United?
Leicester are in for him, but Monaco
Surely.
have come and offered him to us.
Surely he'd go to Man United over Leicester.
I
Would
think
he?
so. I think
Yeah.
he'd slot into that Pogba role nicely.
He's a very good player.
And then
Very
imagine if you got
good.
Rabiot as well.
I remember when they came to Burnley, and they had that three-man midfield. Ndidi, Maddison, and Tielemans. That is such a good three-man midfield.
It is.
And him and Ndidi were the ones for me that stood out. Like I like Maddison, but those two.
I think Ndidi's really
Ndidi
underrated.
is so underrated. He's a really good player. Really.
Again,
good.
he's young. He's what, 23?
Yeah, I think Man United need a player like him.
Yeah.
A kind of like an enforcer, an Encante kind of player, someone that protects, a water carrier.
We're
Protects
apparently
that
in
back
for
four.
Gay as well from Everton. 29 though. So
Yeah,
think about
he's
this. We've
older,
just
isn't
let go of Herrera, similar player, for free. We've let him go
Yeah,
for.
they
Is
let
he
him
on
go
PSG?
for-
Is he
Yeah.
gone?
Well, bearing in mind he was like worth 30 mil, and then imagine if we went for Idrissa Gueye.
Yeah, that's. I'd go for, if it was Ndidi, you could see it, but Idrissa Gueye.
And that's the mentality.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Would you say he's a valid Pogba
Schweinsteiger.
replacement though? Tielemans.
Tielemans, yeah.
Yeah.
For what? That's the best you're going to get, a player like Tielemans.
Well, speaking of United's mentality, we're linked with Rakitic and Coutinho if Pogba leaves.
There you go.
Ooh.
See, Rakitic is another Asian one that's on his decline.
Well, Coutinho, well, the wage structure as well, you could argue.
But
He'd love that. How would you feel about seeing Coutinho in a United kit?
he's a money-grabbing snake anyway. So if he goes to Man United, he just proves it. I think that's worse than Michael Owen going over there, because I could see that happening though.
I know. I
That's
think
the
I could.
problem.
I could see him go to
I'm with
Chelsea.
you. I don't want it to happen.
If Chelsea don't
Chelsea's the
transfer
worst,
ban.
I think. I wouldn't.
What, that would be worse for Liverpool?
No, as in-
It's interesting you
no,
mentioned
not worse
Chelsea.
for Liverpool. I think in terms of Coutinho's, reputation of a money grabbing little snake.
Yeah.
If he went to Chelsea, that would.
Well, do you know what
I
he's
fit
think
come
that.
out
Man
and
United would
said-
offer higher wages than
He
Chelsea.
would, but
though.
there's
We would.
something about Chelsea that, to me personally,
He's come out and said he's open to move to Chelsea.
oh, of course he has.
Yeah,
I could see that. I could see him as a Hazard replacement, even though he's not the
Well,
same
he'd
type
work
of
to be
player.
fair.
that makes more sense than him going to Chelsea.
Or
Yeah.
City though. I've heard no mention of City to be fair, but I
I
think
don't
he'd
think
suit them.
I don't.
Bit like an inverted winger.
I like
City
Man
got enough
City's
of that though. I think like
the
Bernardo
way they,
Silva.
their wage structure as well. It's quite good, isn't it? From what I've done a bit of research on it.
It's not as bad as Man
Well,
U.
it's not as
let's put it that
bad.
way.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Are you Chelsea on a ban?
Well,
No.
yeah, that's the
Yeah,
thing.
Yeah.
the
so it's
protest.
whether you can find the loophole
Yeah,
to bring him in before.
How do you think, on the topic of Chelsea, Frank Lampard's going to do it at Chelsea?
We've said it's a risk,
Oh yeah, it's massive
and
risk.
with the transfer,
Throw the dice.
say they can't find a loophole in the transfer
Well,
ban.
they give him 2 years, haven't they?
He is going to be their first English permanent manager since Glenn Hoddle in 1996.
Mad.
Silence.
Big shoes to
Yeah.
fill.
It's like
That's
mic
crazy.
drop.
Crazy. So
Yeah.
they've had a lot of Italians. So they had Vialli, Ranieri,
Ancelotti as well, yeah.
Ancelotti, Conte, Sarri, all them lot. They love their Italians.
Do you remember Goose Hiddink?
Oh, yeah.
Goose Hiddink, yeah.
Who else have they had?
Temporary man.
Um,
Luis Felipe Scolari.
Oh,
Yes.
He did good at the World Cup though, he didn't he, for Portugal?
Somehow, yeah.
Avram Grant.
Avram
Grant.
Grant.
Yeah, I
That
remember
Humpty
Avram
Dumpty,
Grant.
didn't he?
Would you say Sarri had a bad season at Chelsea?
No.
No.
Because former Chelsea winger Pat Nevin has come out and said the fans aren't devastated, and I don't think they are they?
No, I
No,
don't
with-
think they
with
What
are.
did you see on
Sarri.
Twitter the other day? People were
Well,
sharing.
there was that guy that had a proper champagne cork emoji, as if he'd done
It's a
an
good
awful
thing,
job
yeah.
and stuff. And oh god, poor Chelsea, third and win the Europa League. God,
Mate,
heart bleeds.
guaranteed Champions League football, third place, a trophy, getting
Yet they're
to a
acting like
final.
he's failed.
How
You
has
know,
that failed?
If that happens at Man United, first season for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, everyone's dancing
he'd
in
be
the streets
praised.
and all that.
yeah,
but
Ollie's on the wheel. That's the
Yeah.
one.
But he's not a Chelsea man, Jordan. That's apparently the big
what
thing.
is a Chelsea
He's not
man?
a Chelsea man.
what is a Chelsea man?
But I don't think you'll care. Like if Lampard does a bad job, I don't think they're going to care whether he's a Chelsea man.
It's like, how long
So
did
we
he
can-
give Lampard then?
Well, isn't
Because-
it? Abramovich said he'll give him 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years.
But that ain't long enough. I mean, he's inexperienced. He's done the same job that McLaren did at Derby.
And Rowett.
And
Yeah.
does that add more
So-
pressure to Lampard, knowing you've only got 2 years?
That is not bad for Chelsea though. 2 years, is it? Having a guaranteed first crap year, that's not bad at Chelsea. But no, especially with with both of those seasons, you're largely going to. Because is it a 1 year transfer ban or is it 2?
It was 2, wasn't it?
I believe it's 2 in a row, isn't it?
Yeah, wow. So can't start. I mean, I suppose he's going to have to rely on your Mason Mounts and
I thought
your
the
Tammy Abrahams.
Pulisic deal was clever.
Yeah.
I think they foresaw this.
Transfer.
This
They
transfer
definitely
ban.
did,
Yeah.
and that was definitely a Hazard replacement. Even though
Again,
I
they
don't
must-
think
they
he's
must
the
have known
same
he was
player.
leaving.
Oh yeah, they definitely knew he was leaving. I think they knew he was leaving last season. They just said, "Give us another year." I think.
Because that Hazard
you
deal
leave.
was quite quick, wasn't it?
It was
So
very
it's probably
quick.
been in the works for
Mm.
months.
Yeah.
Well,
I think
Hazard teased it, didn't he, and whatnot?
throughout
Did,
the
yeah.
season, yeah, he wanted to go. Of course he did. And now he's got his move. But
Well, got
It's in-
congratulate Kepa Arrizabalaga as well for the
Oh, yeah.
new Chelsea job as well.
God, comedian,
They
you
do.
aren't you?
Well, yeah. Well,
Oh,
yeah,
you know, he came third and won the Europa League in his first season.
Yeah.
So.
They're so
yeah.
As
greedy,
manager.
aren't they?
What do you say?
The greedy though Chelsea fans are.
I just.
Like,
I think they're the closest thing we've got to Madrid fans.
they,
Mm.
like I just
But
don't
Madrid
get
should
it.
be. Madrid have more of a kind of weirdly have more of a right to be entitled because they've been probably the biggest football club in the world forever. Whilst Chelsea, before the money came in, they weren't really winning league titles. They were winning like domestic trophies, but not league titles.
It's like,
They had one league title in their entire history before Roman Abramovich came in.
Did
Like,
you mean
I
buy
think-
Tottenham as well?
Hmm?
Abramovich meant to buy Spurs. But
He was looking at it, yeah, but then I think he bought Chelsea instead.
I remember you saying to me it was a mistake or something.
If that had happened,
might
do you
have been a
think Tottenham
mistake.
would be as successful as Chelsea are now?
Yeah, I think so.
Do
Well,
you
the
think
money
the whole
there.
structure would have worked back then?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think so. Yeah, because it's the big thing with Chelsea working that it was a London club as well, and that works well. But it'll be interesting to see how he does, Lampard. I think he should stay at Derby, but he's not going to turn down Chelsea, is he? You're not going to turn down that job, especially when, like him, you're so in love with the club, record goal scorer. I just hope Chelsea give him time.
and the players, because like the past 3 managers, they've fallen out with him.
Well, yeah,
and then they've gone.
this could
like-
work in his favour though. They might not fall out with him. I don't know though.
it's
Wouldn't
Chelsea
put it
players
past
at the end of the day, isn't
That's
it?
what they call the shots.
I mean,
Yeah.
we said last podcast I would have tried to coax Simeone out of Atletico.
I would have
I
done.
think that was a much safer option.
Not sure he would have left, but he would have been a brilliant appointment. But yeah, fair play to Sarri. He's back to Italy, back to where his family is. Good for him. Top job.
Working on
Well-
the CR7 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's moved on from Gonzalo Higuain to Cristiano Ronaldo. So, although
Bit of a difference.
yeah, so although Higuain's going to go to Juventus now, doesn't he? Stay there because Sarri's there.
Well,
I hear it's
Jorginho as
interesting,
well,
yeah.
didn't he only go to Chelsea because of...
Surely
Yeah.
he's
Oh
going
yeah, he
back
called him a
there.
traitor.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Good luck with Sarri, man. Hope he does well.
I hope he does. I think he will do well at Juventus. A lot of people. I heard a lot of Juventus.
It's impossible not to, though.
Well,
Isn't it?
some people are saying it's not a good fit for Juventus, Sarri, but I think it could work. Especially with Ronaldo. Give Ronaldo some more freedom in an attacking sense. That could work.
And possibly Pogba there. You don't know.
You just don't know.
Yeah, I
But-
think Pogba would thrive again.
Yeah, he'd
Don't
do
know.
well at Juventus.
Just don't think he'd go to Juventus.
If he went to Madrid, I just think if he had a couple of bad games,
Aren't Madrid
those
maybe
fans
going
would
for
turn on him.
Mbappe as well? What's going on there?
Yeah.
And Neymar. It's between them.
Wow. Oh,
Yeah.
between
I
them.
think
they,
so. I
they
don't- I don't
can't.
think
They
they'll be
wouldn't be
able
able
to
to
go.
get all. Imagine if they can't get all 3.
Well, they've
That
already
would-
spent, I think, like 300 million euros.
What about
That's a
financial fair
joke.
play? What's going
That's
on
what I mean.
there?
That's a joke. That is.
Yeah, when do financial fair play get involved?
when it's you are spending more than what you are making in revenue, and Real Madrid won't have to have so much of a problem because they make a load of
Do you
revenue.
know what then? You're probably looking at like they could bring Neymar, Mbappe. Financially, they could probably handle that, and Pogba.
Yeah,
Could
if you
they
loan
handle
one
that?
of them, like PSG did that time, they loaned Mbappe for the first season to basically
Yeah, to get
maneuver
around it.
where. So that already means that financial fair play can be easily dealt with.
Of course
I mean,
it
There are-
that's
There's
it.
definitely a lot of loopholes you can go.
That's
Yeah.
it. Just loan them for the season and say, yeah, we'll pay you next season. I mean, what's the point in having a stupid rule like that? The rule was enforced to stop situations like Portsmouth happen again. That was the big thing.
What happened
because,
there again?
Because obviously they spend well over their means.
I remember
so they got
they had loads of
bankrupt.
English players, didn't they? It was Defoe,
Well, they spent a
Crouch.
lot of money and they went over their means and got bankrupt. That's what it is. It's you can't spend more than your revenue, otherwise you're going to get yourself bankrupt. So I don't necessarily think it's to actually stop.
Portsmouth are
big
coming
spending.
back, though, aren't they, a little bit? Change of conversation, obviously, but
Slow
very,
and
very
steady.
quick.
Well,
Very
yeah,
quick.
they're in League One, aren't they?
Yeah, well,
and
yeah.
they lost in the playoffs to Sunderland. Yeah, I'd quite like to see Portsmouth come back soon. Yeah.
Big Sunderland, Adam Johnson. Is he?
What the hell's that got to do anything?
Well, he was at Sunderland, wasn't he? That's-
Right,
You
that's
like
what you
Adam-
associate Sunderland
Well, you
with.
like Adam Johnson, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Your mate, isn't
Can
he?
anyone do
Yeah.
an impression of him?
How does he
No, I don't even
speak?
know. I
Yeah.
didn't
He's a
know.
Geordie, isn't he?
I can't remember. We speak. Get me cards. No.
We'll
What
say-
did he say?
We'll save that for after
Did
the
you
break.
see, he's going to China, isn't he? He wants to
He
move
wants to go to China. Yeah, it's
when it's
because he said to his
sentence is
sister or
done.
something for another career move. He could only see himself going to out of England. He
Yeah,
can't get
can't
another
you see it?
chance.
Yeah.
What a guy.
Sunderland legend.
Just a lovely bloke.
Football hero, isn't he?
Absolutely charming.
So I want to talk about this because let's look at the Argentina team. So on paper, that team is phenomenal. The names,
Aging though.
yeah, it's aging, but the names that are on that team sheet,
Especially
you look
going
at that.
forward.
If you were the opposition, you'd be like, oh dear, we've lost. They don't play well together.
Doesn't seem to be the case, does it?
Now think about this: Real Madrid are bringing a lot of new Galacticos into their club.
Yeah.
Is it gonna go as well as they think?
Well, Zidane as the
You know, that
manager.
first season might be terrible for all the new signings.
I
If
don't
they
think
don't
so.
gel
See,
together.
I can't see him having a bad season.
I think it'll just be average.
agree.
Do you think they'll win the Champions League again?
Not yet.
I agree with that.
Could go both ways. You could argue they've still got their core foundation. They've got the back
Madrid
line.
spine. I don't know the
Yeah,
Madrid history. They'll go far, I think, about quarterfinals, semis, but maybe even that. I don't know.
I think Liverpool could win it again.
Nah, I can't see us
No,
winning.
I agree.
Nah.
Do you not think you're a great knockout side?
I can't see us winning it again.
Yeah, but
Barca
after
is a
that,
long
after
time.
that season that you've just seen,
I
anything's
think,
possible.
I think we'll focus on the Prem next season.
But you said
Mainly.
that last year.
Next year's our year, don't worry.
It is.
Well, United fans are saying that now, aren't they? In the paper, Lukaku said
Man
said
United are the new
next
Liverpool.
next year will be our
They
year.
But
Dig
yeah,
his own grave.
yeah. The reason why I would think Liverpool are a good candidate for winning the Champions League is because I think they're just a team well equipped for that kind of knockout two-legged football, and I think City are more a league side. So I think we could be seeing now that City are consistently winning the Prem, but Liverpool might consistently go far and do well in Europe.
I
and
agree
City
with that.
don't
yeah.
do well in Europe.
It's just something about City in
yeah,
Europe.
doesn't work, does it? It doesn't
No,
seem
it
to.
doesn't.
But
Why though?
Something about Pep not fully working
Well,
in
yeah,
Europe. Should have won it with Bayern.
should have won it with Bayern. He had the best team in the world there, and he didn't win it. There's like a we've all said this before about City. It's almost too plastic a club
It is.
to have that kind of intimidating atmosphere and aura at the ground. So like when people go there for second legs at the Etihad, there's nothing to really fear.
Well, there's no
I
crowd,
totally
is
get
there?
that.
There's no crowd,
There's
is
I
there?
was watching Barcelona versus Liverpool
Yeah.
in that second leg.
Yeah,
That, what was it, 4-0 comeback?
yeah. Well, the
The
crowd.
fans were the 12th man.
City
Wow.
is never ever going to produce something like that.
I actually had goosebumps.
Yeah.
Bearing in
Tories,
mind,
aren't they?
I'm a United fan. Liverpool I class as our greatest rivals
Yeah.
over City. And I had goosebumps watching that game.
Oh.
The crowd, it was so intimidating.
Oh yeah, it was brilliant. And Barcelona got shook by it. Messi got shook by it. What does that say? That's never going to happen at the Etihad.
Did you see the game against Schalke in the group stages? Like half the stadium was empty, and that's meant to be a big club. It's
Yeah, I know.
like,
They thrashed them as well, didn't they?
yeah,
That
it's
wasn't in the
like-
group. That was knockout.
It's like it was
Yeah.
embarrassing in
Knockout
the
game as
FA
well, you
Cup,
think?
like semi-final at Wembley against Brighton,
Oh,
and
yeah.
like the Brighton fans had more people going. Like
Quite frankly, it is embarrassing.
it is.
How
if you're going to
can-
take over a club, you want one like Newcastle, and that's why if they get
Newcastle's a
taken
lot.
over, they're going to be a big
Oh
force.
shit!
Well, you could just
Yeah.
imagine. You could imagine that crowd being a big factor in it. You could imagine that being a Champions League stadium, couldn't you?
Yeah.
St James's. Whilst the Etihad, you just couldn't. I hope well, I've said this before on the podcast quite a lot. I do hope Newcastle get bought, as I think that's a proper club, and I'd quite like
What-
to see them up there.
Do you reckon they will be able to spend like Manchester City did?
Well,
like
we
all
discussed
that
this,
in-
didn't we? You know, with the
I
financial
think
fair play.
initially, no. I
Well,
think for
they'll
the
build.
first few seasons, no. I think you invest in youth,
Yeah.
first thing you do.
Mm.
And then I think, you find little loopholes of getting big players on loan with maybe an offer to buy them a year later, things like that. Like
City
what
didn't
PSG
do it
did
like-
with Mbappe.
City didn't do it like that, did they?
No, it was all gradual.
It was all gradual.
They upgraded, didn't they? Slow
It
and
took
steady.
It took them 4 years to win the league, didn't it? And a few years to get into the Champions
I mean,
League.
Jolie Lescott was still in the side, weren't he?
Yeah, Jolly and Lescott.
Lego
Well,
Ed.
I think they bought him.
Lego Ed.
They bought Jolly and yeah.
That's
I
amazing.
told you that one, didn't I? Lego Ed.
Well, that's classic, isn't that? It's like Frankenstein.
That's
That's
brilliant.
savage, that is.
Craig Bellamy, Shea
Oh,
Given,
yeah, Craig
Mikael
Bellamy.
Richards.
Mika Richards.
He's a free agent now as well, isn't he?
They signed it Fernando from Porto. That was a few years later
Yeah.
as well. I forget.
Fernando and then Fernandinho as well.
Have
was,
they got some-
Fernando weren't
Joe.
too bad, but he got
Joe,
sold.
Joe, he was
Oh,
brilliant.
Joe.
Clinical
Ilano.
striker.
Ilano.
Yeah.
Ilano used to
Stephen
score really good
Ireland.
free
Richard
kicks.
Dunn. No,
Richard Dunn, yeah,
Richard
legend.
Dunn, yeah.
God.
No, I think, Rubinho
Not
was
Luke
class, though.
Rizzi.
Robinho was so hit and miss at City though. I thought he
He was a bit
poor.
like Nani.
Yeah.
On
yeah.
his day, unplayable.
but
but-
could go missing. But
Yeah.
yeah,
They
They
had
built.
what was that old Liverpool player?
Robbie Fowler.
Didi Hamann, didn't he as well?
Yeah.
He was at Man City.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Would you say City have got, like, maybe besides Vincent Kompany, have they got any legends?
David Silva,
Yaya Toure.
Aguero?
Yeah.
David
Yeah,
Silva.
would you class them now as legends? Because obviously when they got
they're on
taken over,
Yeah, they're on
they
the.
were nothing.
They're on the
really.
page. And
I'd say Joe Hart's a legend for him.
In terms of that position,
Probably.
at least, yeah.
Didn't look like you agreed with me.
No, I think in terms
I'm-
in terms of
I
the
don't know.
goalkeeping position, he's probably their best goalkeeper
Yeah.
ever.
Or
Yeah.
Well, he has
Edison's
to be.
coming up now, isn't he? But
Yeah, but if he
Yeah.
continues to do that over a
I
few
love
seasons,
that
maybe
silence.
just says it all.
did say they did like him, though, City fans. But yeah,
Pep didn't, did he?
Pablo Zabaleta. Could you maybe say
Yeah.
a legend?
You're scraping the barrel though, aren't you?
Yeah. I'd probably say Yaya Toure.
David Silva.
I'll never forget
Yeah,
that
yeah.
birthday
Said him, yeah.
cake
Who said-
instance.
Did he want to leave because he
What was that?
didn't
Wanted
give
to
him
leave.
He wanted to
Do you
leave because he
remember
didn't get him a cake.
No,
A
what was
birthday
that?
cake.
No, what was that?
It is a shambles of that,
It was after they.
Is it?
but it's not enough to leave a club.
Who cares?
Well-
I don't get a birthday. Really, cake, really.
Well, thingy wasn't it? Well, they'd just beaten Liverpool to the league, and he was like the big man. He got 20 goals, I think.
Oh,
from
that was in his
centre-mid.
best season, wasn't it?
Yeah, and then straight afterwards, it was the whole. Do you not remember that? You didn't get a birthday cake. He's like, "Nah, I want to leave."
Yeah, I wanna
now,"
leave
and
now.
stuff.
But as long
I
as you
think
wish
it
me
was
happy
an excuse,
birthday, as long as you wish me happy birthday.
It was an excuse to leave, wasn't it?
Yeah, the thing
So
was,
that
he
he
was,
didn't
he
look
was
bad.
he was so on and off, wasn't he, Yaya Toure? He was like, "Oh, I want to leave," and then he stayed, and he's only just left now.
For that season that he had, though, that we'll call it the birthday cake season.
Yeah.
I think he does go down as a legend.
Oh yeah, definitely. He won him the league.
Yeah,
And-
what a
Yeah.
season!
And he scored in the first season that they won it when they beat Pep United. They went away to Newcastle the game before the famous QPR one, and he scored a really big goal that day as well.
Isn't
yeah,
Aguero City's all-time leading goal
He is.
scorer?
Oh yeah, so of course he's a legend.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Fair
definitely.
play for that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Definitely, Aguero's a legend.
I was
no
reading
doubt.
about
Joey
Aguero's love life the other day as well.
Oh, were you?
Bart.
A bit
Really
off topic.
Sean Wright Phillips.
Apparently he's a
Sure,
bit of
right,
a I don't know, lover boy, Aguero.
Is he?
Goes around, yeah. Like there's
I mean, you think though?
What footballer isn't there?
He's not a bad-looking
Well,
lad, is he?
Yeah.
Aguero.
Ask Adam Johnson.
Aguero.
Ask Adam Johnson.
You think you've got money?
Kindergarten. Him.
Yeah.
You're sick at your job.
Kindergarten.
Yeah, well-
You just
Well, it's the money, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'd go with
maybe.
Aguero for the money.
you would.
What would you?
All of a sudden, like next year at uni,
What would you? If
you're
Aguero
not
ca-
in class. You're in you're in Spain.
If
somewhere
Aguero came to
with
you and
Aguero.
said, "I want you to be in a relationship with me,"
Fuck it.
Why
Yeah.
Well, there's a couple of things you can guarantee out of this:
Yep.
fame and money.
That's-
You'd be set,
Aguero's
but then
gay lover.
oh, you saw, yeah, in the paper.
Aguero's gay toy boy.
They tried to do this with Ronaldo, didn't they? Try and
They-
make
they
out he was
tried to say
gay.
he was gay.
I swear they do it every
Doesn't he?
year.
Yeah, every year.
Well,
Yeah.
didn't
Got
you
a
have
kid
pictures with that guy? And he
Yeah, and
went
it turns
topless and
out
stuff?
it's just his friend.
Yeah,
But-
definitely.
It's complete waffle, isn't it?
Yeah, well, he's obviously not gay.
The thing
he?
is, you'd sell your dignity though, wouldn't you? A little
Oh,
bit.
who cares?
Or would you? Would you be selling your
I'd-
dignity?
Yeah, well, probably, but
You have no morals whatsoever.
well, when it contains £200,000 a week, I'd
so
probably
you
do it.
moan at those footballers for taking that money,
But
and you
I'd do
take
it.
it.
But he
from
wants a
literally-
fair share of it.
Well,
Yeah. So would you do it then?
no,
Why not?
because I'm not gay.
Potentially £300,000 a week.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. Could you
I wouldn't
just
get
like?
all that.
You don't get all of it.
Could you just pretend to be with him, but then behind the scenes you're just hanging out as like best friends? You're getting
Do
loads
that.
of girls.
Yeah,
and-
I'd do that.
Could you do that,
I'd
or is it genuinely you've got to do sexual things with him?
Bit of both, maybe. You got to go in at night.
Bit of both. Or it's one or the other.
See, for people who aren't gay, that'd be quite scarring.
Yeah,
Like-
it would. It could. Yeah.
Think about that.
I would.
How much money are we talking?
Well, yeah.
Essentially, you'd get a good amount of money.
You'd be set for life, but it's like, have you just?
What happens if he doesn't pay you?
Oh yeah.
Just,
What a
marry him
waste
and
of
then
your time.
marry him and divorce him. couldn't you?
Yeah, that's the thing as well. You've got to be in it
Take
for the
half
long
his
run, haven't you?
wealth.
It's not even like a year or two fling, is it?
No,
He's not
it's
going to be
not.
giving you money after that.
No,
surely.
it's not.
He's going to need your trust.
This is a
Yeah, well,
brilliant
Yeah.
debate.
That's why you've got to be good at what you do, haven't you? You know, gain that trust and then bid him off.
You sound very interested in this, Connor. There's something you're not telling us.
What concerns this amount of money?
You get to hang out with footballers as
Exactly.
You get to
Yeah.
have a
well. That's a
footballer.
shout.
Yeah, put on your CV.
Put it on
We'll have
your
to come back to
CV.
that. Maybe next
It's not
episode.
really a CV thing.
We'll
is
all have a
it?
debate about that.
What about whether we get with a football for money?
So what basically you were planning on putting on your CV, you were basically a rent boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you'd be great with the
Secret
Chelsea
Chelsea
fans. Love how we both said it at the same time.
Get a Chelsea fan commenting on this now.
Yeah.
I'd get
probably.
with a footballer from the Women's World Cup.
Who would you get?
Thailand, all their squad. Those
Oh, they scored their first goal, didn't they?
Oh yeah, it was wonderful goalkeeping as well, wasn't it?
brilliant.
Well, this is the thing. It could be quite a hot topic with the women's football. Is in the shortening of the goals. The shortening of the goal, should I say? If you get what I mean.
The height and
Yeah, they want
width.
to do that before, haven't they? They've spoke about it.
Well,
'Cause
they're too small, aren't they?
Well, when you compare 5'3" women keepers to 6'6" Thibaut Courtois, you know what I mean?
There are a load of shorties running around, aren't they?
They are those shorties, yeah.
I literally have not watched a single game of the Women's World Cup.
Why?
Just speaking of like women's football though, Soccer Aid was on, and it was kind of refreshing to see, to be honest, that men and women in the same team.
I don't think it's a
In a
bad
celebrity sense, that's fine.
Would
no,
you-
but I
would
think
you
it
do it
actually
in-
worked.
Would you do it in an intergender league or whatever?
Well, there'd be
No.
no women.
I
would there?
think
It's nothing to
I don't
do
want
with
this
the
to sound
skill.
bad
It's just
at all.
they're not as powerful and strong, are they? Fast.
yeah, I think I agree with that. I don't want it to sound bad at all.
Oh, yeah.
John.
I'm just saying,
John.
you
Sexist
can't
here,
argue.
It's not
Men-
really sexist though. It's biological.
Yeah,
It's like a fact.
Biologically, like men, well, factually, men are stronger than women,
Mm-hmm.
unless
The
you've got no
fastest-
testosterone.
The fastest man in the world is going to be quicker than the fastest woman in the world.
Yeah.
I think they need to stay separate, but I'm just saying it was refreshing to see them in Soccer Aid playing on the same pitch.
That's because it's not a competitive
Yeah,
element.
yeah.
Then you can
Well, John
do
Terry
that.
took it seriously.
Yeah, he did actually,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Yeah. So
yeah, well, of course he bloody does.
The thing is, that was
Captain Lee
him
the
just
racist.
sliding in, wasn't
John,
Captain Lee the racist. Well, he was racist.
he was racist. Racist.
Don't
We
know
just sliding
John
into the
as if, like,
DMs.
that's
Well, no, yeah, no, just I don't know. Maybe John Terry's watching and.
right. Yeah.
You actually
He's
don't know.
racist.
Well, yeah, we do get views in. Was it Portugal as well?
Oh.
That you
Yeah.
say John Terry could be in Portugal.
We've had like 8% of our views in United States.
Not
Not
bad.
bad.
Getting out there.
might be Hope Solo watching.
You like
Yeah.
Hope Solo, don't you?
She's decent. Yeah.
She is, man.
She's a keeper.
Oh, wonderful. God, where do you
Don't
think of these pickup lines?
That was literally on the spot as well. So we were talking about Real Madrid, weren't we?
Yeah, we were. Yeah.
I don't know
Before
how we
dived
went
into it.
so off topic. Yeah. I just wanted to say actually about the unveiling of Hazard. They were chanting, "We want Mbappe," weren't they?
Yeah.
Well,
Just stupid
apparently
fans.
they were chanting, "We want Mbappe too," not just "We want Mbappe."
That does make a difference, but still,
It makes a
it's-
massive difference for
they've got
it's
Hazard.
spoiled.
It's very
Yeah.
disrespectful, I think.
Oh, yeah,
Still.
it is
Spoiled
disrespectful.
brats, them lot are.
Yeah.
I think that's
booed
how you put it.
Ronaldo. They booed Ronaldo, their best ever player.
And had the audacity to say, "Oh, we'll be fine without him."
That's kind of like, you know, when Moses separated the sea for the slaves and they like
That's
booed him.
completely different.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
We talk about Victor Moses there.
Yeah. But it's like, you know, he was their best ever player and what, they booed him. Why? For one bad game, probably. Come on, get a grip.
We talked about it. There's been links with Mbappe and Neymar. Financially, I think they could do it, but they've already spent 300 million. It's like
Do you reckon Mbappe would be a
insane.
good fit for? Well, yeah.
Oh, it's
I think
brilliant, isn't
Mbappe
it?
Yeah.
would be a better fit than Neymar.
Neymar,
would
yeah,
for
I
them.
do.
Definitely, yeah, definitely.
I do
I
really
think
like
he's
Neymar.
better than Neymar.
And here's
he's
the
less
thing: if they are
injury-prone.
going to move for Neymar, obviously Hazard you expect to play on the left wing.
Yeah.
Who's going to play that right wing position? Neymar or Hazard or Mbappe? Does Hazard play striker? Or
Imagine
something
that
like
team on paper, should I say, with Mbappe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. On paper, it's
Do
it's
they
a
play
phenomenal
Do
team.
they play 4-3-3 or 4-2-3-1?
Mostly 4-3-3, I think.
Yeah. So, who goes right wing?
Your mom.
Hazard on the bench, Lucas Vasquez right
Hazard
wing.
on the
Yeah.
bench. Though.
Imagine.
Imagine they spent all that money and
Yeah.
had him on the bench.
Oh no, he's just an ornament. It's okay.
Get
Mate.
shirt sales or.
Yeah, you would, to be fair.
You're right.
Well,
Just let him rot on the bench for a few years.
yeah, exactly.
well,
what they're doing with
what's
Bale,
his
isn't it?
number? Someone said
It's
it was
Yeah,
seven.
this is a debatable
7
thing.
apparently.
Well,
was
someone said it was 16.
Apparently in the club shop they've been selling shirts with Hazard 7.
Yeah, I've heard that. So I think Mariano, who's the current number 7,
Well,
has
he's
given
got-
it to him.
Well, is he really?
He was
worthy
number
of-
10, isn't it, Modric?
Yeah,
Yeah.
number 10's Modric, yeah.
He said
He's
no
just
to-
not-
He's,
yeah,
he
he's not
said
gonna
no,
give up, is
apparently.
he?
Yeah.
No. Well,
Unless he moves. You don't know.
Yeah, good point.
Is this why Real are waiting? Because I haven't seen his shirt number unveiled yet.
no, but he was in the kit launch, wasn't he? Him and Bale were both in the kit
Yeah,
launch.
I've seen him, though, with his name on the back but no number. So I'm thinking this, is Modric on his way out? And is he going to take the number 10? Are they
Wouldn't
kind
surprise
of
me.
concluding a deal?
Wouldn't surprise me. He was linked with Inter Milan last year, wasn't
He
he?
didn't have the best season.
And
did
he had,
he?
No.
considering compared to when he was probably the best player in the world last year, he's definitely had a Real Madrid in general have had a very poor season for their standards. It would be a really good move for him to go to Inter Milan or the Serie A because it's a slower league.
It sounds like Inter are making some moves, though.
Well, yeah,
They
this
are.
would be a good move because I think he'd fit in really well into Italian football, like Pirlo was.
Which
when
one?
he
You
was
want
older.
Modric?
Yeah.
Oh, you've
kind of like,
said this
Oh,
before,
yeah.
yeah.
kind of like how Pirlo was but he was always in Italian football, but he arguably, almost got better.
And he's
at
mid
Juventus.
to late
At
30s.
Juventus.
I think
when
if Modric moved to the Serie A, he's got another 3 years at the top
Definitely.
level.
maybe even 4.
Because as you said earlier,
Yeah.
it's a bit slower paced.
Yeah, exactly.
You can dictate the game a lot better.
Definitely agree with that.
Do you remember Pirlo at the 2014 World Cup against England?
Do you remember Zlatan against England?
Do you remember Euro?
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
watching that
Short
the other day.
cross.
I think Pirlo was better against us in Euro 2012.
Yeah, I do.
Because he had
was
an
that free
amazing
kick at
game.
the end when he smacked the bar?
Oh yeah, and then he also did the Panenka penalty, and he just ran.
Oh
the show
yeah, that
game.
Panenka.
We should have
always
never
went
taken
there.
that game to penalties, but yeah, he was brilliant that day. Pirlo's up there for me.
What's one of the best
Best
midfielders
passer.
ever?
One of the best I've seen. Right up
Yeah.
there with Xavi and Iniesta.
I think we'll have a break now, and then we'll come back with some footballer impressions, which that's going to be quite cringy and interesting, but we'll see. Right then, so we're back after the break for some footballer impressions. Now, I assure you that the boys aren't happy about this at all. Who's going first?
Go on, John.
No.
Who's got the courage?
Go on then, Connor, go for it.
I didn't volunteer myself.
Connor encourages alliteration, go for it.
Who have you got in mind first?
I've quite fancied myself doing a David Beckham one.
Go on then, yeah.
Go on then.
Have a go.
I'm going to try just not look at you when I do it. Yeah, it's great. Victoria, the kids.
You sound absolutely nothing like
Oh,
him.
piss off. You do one then.
Yeah, go on,
Well, I
John.
know, because they're going to be awful.
Well, don't rinse me. At least I
No.
did my first, dickhead.
All right.
Well, no.
No, have another go, because I think you can talk about LA Galaxy.
LA
or
Galaxy,
into Miami.
I think it's a great club. Victoria, the kids. That's all he fucking talks about. I think I'm fucking nailed.
He's gone from talking about into Miami to getting a night out.
Have you seen did you hear about that?
Yeah.
Yes, we all heard about that. Should have got a fucking knighthood.
It's all he talks about, isn't it?
It was at Ramos's wedding, wasn't it, at the weekend?
I don't know.
Ronaldo wasn't
Ronaldo
invited.
Ooh.
Yes.
Oh, it's
Oh,
funny.
that's bad.
That's the talking point, that. Should we just start some internet beef? Get some views.
Well,
Gregory's goals.
we'll get people in the comments saying it was fake news like last time.
Do you know what I've heard, actually? Football Daily on YouTube, they're in the works of trying to make up some kind of ridiculous transfer. So, you know the Ribery to Sheffield United transfer?
Yeah.
Everyone thought that was them. They had to
Should-
do a video
That would be
addressing
such
it.
a cool
Don't try
one to
and
make up.
change the topic from football impressions.
No, we're coming back to it.
I've just done mine, so everyone needs to do theirs.
Who's going next then?
Just do short dash.
Sean Dyche at Burnley Football Club. Just talks like that, doesn't he?
I
He's
like
like got like a gravelly voice. Love him though. What a legend.
Say some more stuff.
No, that's it. That's my Sean Dyche capabilities.
Just say Burnley one more time.
Burnley.
I like that.
Yeah, I'll try to do a Harry Kane. Yeah, I'm playing great football for Spurs. Yeah, let's go with some goals.
It's quite cool.
Do the
Let's go.
do the you know how we went let's go, come on, like after they beat City, do that one.
Yeah, let's go. Come on.
He sounds like he sounds like
We've actually got Harry Kane in the studio.
Yeah.
it
That
sounds
wasn't an
like
impression.
it sounds like he's saying Tesco. Come on. Tesco.
Let's go.
Try to do a Harry Redknapp. These boys are brilliant players, you know. Do Jan Rowie Polies, you know. Nico Crenshaw, you know. Peter Crouch. Brilliant, mate. Brilliant.
Do you know what? You're sick at impressions.
We don't need the others. We don't need the others.
Do you want to have my go as well?
No. I'm all out.
I've got 3 in mind for my go. I'll do them all, but I'll do this guy first. Yeah. So I think the English transfer window should be moved earlier.
That's
it's
supposed to be Wenger.
meant to be Wenger.
I
Have you got any more?
I mean, mine's the worst, but
Could you at least sense it in oomph of Beckham then?
No.
Maybe a little bit.
Try Rio Ferdinand.
You got the accent right. Let's put
Do
it
you
that
reckon
way.
Rio Ferdinand?
Yeah, try that one.
That's a difficult one.
What would he say?
but Ollie's at the wheel. He's back.
Oh,
Man
mate,
United
always
back.
I can't.
What about Owen
I
Hargreaves?
start cringing whenever he's got a Canadian accent, hasn't he?
It's a brilliant talent. No, that's
No,
Scottish,
it's
isn't
not, yeah, it's
it?
Scottish. Yeah, it's more like Stroud Ferguson. That is.
I've got one.
I want to try to do Rio Ferdinand. I want to
You-
try
you
and
go
do
first, you
No,
go
I
first.
want to try and do it. I don't know what to say. You have to find something to say which is going to match.
Yeah, it is
His-
finding something to say.
Which is
isn't
going
it?
to. I don't know.
I'll do mine then.
Go
I'll do
on,
mine.
yeah.
April Fool's Day. David
Oh.
Moyes is the biggest fool in Manchester. And that is you, David Moyes.
Is that Andy Tate?
Yeah.
Is it?
I've
you?
got some more for
What a
that.
guess.
Do a
You
Claude
got the
one?
job on the technicality of a legend who recommended you. You were nothing. You were a fool. And you were a waste of time. Good night.
Wow.
I got quite
You can
passionate.
do a
during that.
good Claude one, to be fair. Claude
What?
from Arsenal Fan
Claude
TV, yeah.
Yes, do it.
Go on. Go on, you can.
Finger out. Finger out. It's time to go.
You have to do his pauses.
It's
when
time to go now.
Mate,
I can't take it anymore.
mate, Wobby.
We've got a £10 million lamp post up front.
Can anyone
I
do a
love Claude.
Mourinho?
I think you could probably do that.
Oh.
We can.
You just have to say sync.
We
I
can cut
think-
it as well if it's really crap. So
We try to pass the ball. I think we play great football at Chelsea. But Mauricio Sarri, Manchester United, great football. I do not know if that's good or not.
Not bad, that.
yours are the best.
It's
Nah,
pretty
nah.
I think the Harry Kane one's the best.
Oh yeah, 100%.
The Harry
hands
Kane
down.
one's the best.
Can you Jurgen Klopp?
You just have to laugh.
Laugh.
Yeah. Sure.
Big cheese gnashes.
For sure.
What? You sound like Christopher Walken.
Well, I'm trying.
For sure. For sure.
Just say that a lot.
You just say that. And then,
Yeah.
I
Brendan
think
Rodgers-
Liverpool are the best team in the Premier League.
That sound.
that sounded Italian.
Yeah, it does. It sounded like Conte. Did I
Maybe it
get
was,
that?
maybe it was.
Yeah.
Oh, a
maybe it
great
was.
character, Joe Allen.
Brendan
Well,
Rodgers.
Gary-
Rodgers.
I think we need to hear that Harry Kane impression just one more time.
I'll do it one more time when you do him. Oh, what's his name? Alan McAnally.
Isn't he Scottish?
Yeah.
Very Scottish.
Goal, Jeff.
Glee goal, Jeff.
That's not bad. That's
That
probably
is
the best
that
one.
is your best one you've done, man.
I didn't think my Beckham one was it was shit.
Have a go again. Do it again.
LA Galaxy, Victoria, the kids. I don't know.
Brooklyn,
Brooklyn. What else did he say?
Romeo.
He said
names his
like,
kid.
He said that time when his son got 1 million Instagram likes, he went.
Oh, I've got 52.
There you go. That's the
Something
one.
like that. Yeah. There's a video in there on James Corden's late night show
Oh, that mess.
where
That
he,
mess.
All he
Stick
does
to
is
Kevin
laugh over his
Spacey.
guest. Such an irritating human
Should we have that as a sound effect?
James Corden laugh.
Yeah.
Put it in.
You know, like the half-time sound effect.
yeah, put it
Yeah,
in
put
post.
James
yeah.
Corden laugh. Yeah, but all he does is laugh over.
Imagine
his
if he
guests.
copyrighted us for that.
Probably.
for his
James
laugh.
Corden's
He's
the
watching.
type of person that would do that as well.
Right, so I think that's impressions done with.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Jordan surprised me there.
Thank
Some
you.
pretty decent impressions. I think we need to talk about now Copa America.
Yeah.
We haven't really gone into that, have we? I wanted to get on this as well. So Neymar is out, sustained an ankle ligament sprain
Apparently
against
it's
Qatar.
dead swollen into it or something.
Well, it leads me to this because I was thinking, hang on, Neymar's always injured, I swear. He's had 22 injuries since 2014. Andy Carroll had like 17. Think about that.
But
Andy Carroll is classed as like majorly injury prone.
but there's difference in quality. So you've got Andy Carroll and then you've got Neymar.
100%, yeah. And also,
Obviously, Andy Carroll's the better
it's
player.
important. Yeah. It's important to note as well, most of Neymar's have been minor injuries. So he's been out for like 7 days, 10 days. Would you class Neymar as injury prone?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. He's been out for way too long, especially the last few seasons. It wasn't just this season. He was out a bit the season before, especially at PSG.
Yeah.
He's had quite an interrupted season at PSG.
He also got injured at the World Cup that time when he did his lower back.
It's because he's so skillful, to be fair.
He gets kicked
Yes,
a
he
lot.
does dive a little bit.
Made a
A
paper.
little bit.
Made of paper.
Oh,
So
The
yeah.
guy just rolls on the ground. Oh, so irritating.
The World Cup was
Fool.
it was ridiculous.
You do see it with Salah as well, though. I think it's a new element to the game.
Do you think
though.
Salah's as bad as Neymar, though?
Nowhere
No,
near as
no,
bad as
no,
Neymar.
not
but
a chance.
Doesn't do
There's
the rolling,
contact
does he?
there.
Salah's his gamemanship, which has happened forever, in which like you get like Vardy, that he gets contact and he goes down
You go down.
immediately. Whilst
And it's
Neymar
clever,
is
though,
just
because
dive.
I think it's a part of the game now. I think it's
It
almost a
is.
skill.
Gamemanship's always been a part of it, though. Like when you feel contact, people used to go down like in the 80s and stuff. It's just like part of the game.
Speaking the truth here.
Yes, yeah.
Wise words of wisdom.
What's with this grilling everything I say going on today?
Well, you
Speaking
grill
of
my
grilling,
impressions.
Brazil
So
were
you.
booed by their own fans.
Hardly. That happens all the time.
What do you make of that? Brazil being
Disrespect.
booed by their own fans.
Well, it's the home nation, aren't they?
Yeah, but if they lost 3-0, fair enough. But you've won 3-0, like, get a grip.
Why-
Like,
74% possession.
Why are they
as well.
booing them?
0-0 at
I believe
half-time,
it was, yeah, definitely that played a part. I think it was frustration of them not taking enough opportunities in the final third.
I like to look at the Brazil team though. Obviously, change your topic.
No, yeah, it's
Coutinho,
it's nice,
you've got
yeah.
your Firmino.
Coutinho
as well.
steps up for Brazil.
He does. Yeah.
Back with Firmino.
Have you
as
seen
well.
that photo with Firmino and Coutinho together on the team photo?
Yeah.
And Firmino's just like big teeth. And
One's a
then,
Champions League winner,
Yeah.
the other
Yeah.
isn't.
well, yeah.
Isn't it? Hasn't it got a caption of Coutinho saying, "Just shut up and take the photo"?
Yeah.
That's quite funny. I do find that funny that Coutinho left Liverpool to win the Champions League.
I know. And since then, we've reached 2 finals and won 1. So there you go, Coutinho.
And to be honest, that Madrid final, like, it could have gone in a different way, couldn't it?
I know.
Yeah.
But that's our redemption, that is.
Yeah. And then we'll go on to Argentina then.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
touched on this a bit earlier, didn't we?
So they won the last game, the game before the last, 4-0, didn't they?
Messi will just retire now, won't he?
What, for like the 18th time?
Well, he usually bloody does, doesn't he? So
Well, we've got they're still in the chance of getting out of the group.
There's extra pressure on Messi this time.
Yeah, because I
Definitely.
think
You know,
this is
he's
his last
knocking on
chance
now.
saloon to
Yeah.
win an international trophy, and he's lost in a lot of finals, lost in the World Cup, lost in the Copa America.
will they
2
get
years
another
in a
chance at the next World Cup? Do you reckon?
I
Yeah,
think
but
he'll
obviously with
probably
Messi
play,
getting
but-
older now.
Well,
he'll
because he'll
get
be like
older.
what 34, 35.
I don't
Yeah.
think they're good enough as well. I mean,
No, I
I
agree,
don't
yeah.
think they're anywhere near what the French
But
are.
this is what I was saying. Like,
No.
isn't that so weird? You don't think they're good enough, yet on paper, what a team!
I think the defence, like, just
They've
they've
all-
got
they've-
nothing there.
They've always been
Like-
pretty poor defensively. Marcus Rojo still plays for them.
I don't think he's included this time, is he?
Is he not this time?
I don't think
He was
so.
at the World Cup.
And is he still at United?
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
A-
he's still
apparently,
29.
in training, he goes all out. Like, does not care at all. He's so aggressive.
It's quite dangerous.
He's a
isn't
red card waiting to happen. To be fair, in
Well, he
games.
has had a few red cards,
yeah.
hasn't he?
Is that just part of his game, or is that just because he
just
just
so
doesn't care?
aggressive. Argentinian,
Yeah.
South American.
In the
aggressive.
blood. What's in the English blood then?
Gravy,
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
But yeah, with Argentina, not working, is it?
Has it ever worked?
Since Maradona, and now
I agree. Yeah.
not
He's
really.
just stepped down, hasn't
Do
he?
you remember
from that
Maradona at the
Mexican team?
2010
Yeah.
World Cup? Psycho, wasn't he?
He was on something there. You
Yeah.
could have heard the final whistle there. Yeah, so as always, if you want to interact with us, talkballpodcast@gmail.com. That's what it is. And we've got a Facebook page. There's a little community tab on there if you want to check that out. We'll have some kind of individual, different content on a YouTube channel. That's Let's Talk Ball Podcast. But yeah, I've enjoyed this podcast. And
Yeah.
next week, got a lot to talk about.
Interesting.
Potentially carrying on that debate.
What do you
No,
mean,
that was
what-
the best play we've ever seen.
Yeah.
Well, the best
Oh,
I've ever seen.
I've
And
seen,
there was the
And we've got some Ballon d'Or stuff to talk about anyway.
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah, enjoyed it. See you later.